10 on Sports Central being over 5 reasons why the Oklahoma Sooners are going to be the next college football national champion, and why Oklahoma is going to go all the way in the 2021 college football season. And just looking at Oklahoma across the board, I mean, this team is looking outstanding going into next season. I mean, talent-wise, recruiting-wise, honestly, depth-wise, it's just outstanding for Oklahoma, and this team is definitely capable, I think, of making a very deep run next season. And why that is what we're going over here today. These 5 reasons will be in no particular order. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started right away with your number 1 reason, which will be Spencer Rattler, quarterback, of course. I mean, he improved significantly, drastically over the course of the 2020 season. I mean, if you look at him and his play at the start of last season to the end of last season, I mean, it's pretty crazy the amount of improvement that he had over last season. And in general, just this Oklahoma team just improved a ton over last season. I mean, they started out the season 1-2, ended out, I mean, blowing out Florida in their bowl game and finishing out the season at 9-2. So, I mean, if that tells you anything about this Oklahoma team, like, there you go. But Spencer Rattler, for sure, I mean, he had one of the highest completion rates in the nation last year with a 67%. You could round that up to a 68. So, really, I mean, in my opinion, anything over a 60% is already good, and Spencer Rattler has far exceeded that. So, I mean, he in general is definitely a quarterback to watch out for next season. I mean, he's a fun guy to watch. And, I mean, it was only his first season with Oklahoma last year, and he was jumping into a crazy situation, I mean, with the COVID season, and then, of course, with everything going on there. Spencer Rattler handled that very well, I thought. And also, I mean, in general, just, I mean, the amount of potential that he has in general is pretty outstanding. I mean, he's still very young, tons to improve on, and I mean, the talent around him has also improved as well. I mean, this team was actually pretty young last season. Like, if you look at their depth chart, this team was very young last year, and I mean, you can totally tell by just how much this team is returning going into 2021, just how much this team, or how young this team was last year, and how much potential they got in 2021 and moving forward. So Spencer Rattler is going to be a huge reason why Oklahoma's going to have success next season. And number 2 is going to be the receiving corps. So kind of in the same situation. I mean, this team returns all 3 top receivers from last season. Spencer Rattler's on the rise. I mean, this receiving corps is going to be excellent next season. It's going to be tough to stop this receiving corps. You got Marvin Mims in there, just over 600 yards last year, 9 touchdowns. Theo Weiss is also coming back. He had just over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Austin Stogner's also coming back. He was your 3rd receiver last year, and your top tight end, obviously. And he also put up some good stats, just over 400 yards. So receiving corps in general is looking outstanding for Oklahoma. This offense in general, like, I could have just put their entire offense on this reason here, because I mean, the running back corps is outstanding. Eric Gray, we'll get to them in just a second, but I mean, yeah, the receiving corps also looking outstanding going into next season, and having Spencer Rattler under center, watch out for them. Number 3 is going to be the talent depth on Oklahoma, and this, I mean, the running back position, once again, this is looking outstanding going into next season. I mean, you lose Ramondre Stevenson, but of course you got Kennedy Brooks coming back. He opted out of the 2020 season, so many people probably forgot about him, but he's going to be coming back, and he's definitely going to be an outstanding running back next year. Seth McGowan was your 3rd running back last year. He will be back. I'm guessing he's going to be kind of in the same position for next year, kind of in the RB2 or RB3 range. Because he also got Eric Gray. Don't forget about him. He's transferring in from Tennessee. He was Tennessee's top running back. So Eric Gray and Kennedy Brooks are going to be tearing it up for sure in the backfield for Oklahoma. And also having Seth McGowan in there. I mean, the depth in this running back corps is outstanding. Same thing with the receiving corps. I mean, across the board, this offense is looking outstanding. And really, on the defense, too. Look at this defense. They returned just about everyone. Every starter from last season is coming back for Oklahoma, and all key impact players all coming back for Oklahoma on the defensive side next year. This defense was not as good last year. I think we all can agree there. But this defense is more than likely going to be top 3, top 4 in the nation next year. I mean, when you got a caliber football team like Oklahoma, and this team blew out Florida at the end of last season, this team's returning that entire defense. They're getting an entire offseason all together. Like, Oklahoma's going to be for real on the defensive side next year, I can tell you that much. And, I mean, defense is huge in the Big 12. If you can have a good defense, like, that's usually kind of in the Big 12. It's high offense, like, high-powered offenses. But if you look at Oklahoma here, this defense is going to be just as good as their offense next year. This defense is definitely going to be, I'd say, top 3, top 4. And so, yeah, the Sooners, I mean, I'm just telling you guys, I think this is as good of a chance as we've seen in the past decade for Oklahoma to possibly win a national championship. Like, I mean, Clemson not having Trevor Lawrence anymore, they could be down. Alabama's got some new players in there. Oklahoma, on the flip side, I mean, this team is looking very good all around. And I think Oklahoma, this team's got a chance to make a run next season for sure. Number 4 is going to be the momentum side for this team. Oklahoma started off 2020 with a 1-2 record, finished out the season 9-2. Major improvement over the course of the 2020 season, no doubt. I mean, once again, this team started out the season 1-2 with 2 losses. I think they were unranked there for for a week there, which was pretty shocking out of Oklahoma. We haven't seen that in quite a while. But I mean, this team once again completely just improved and changed everything about, like, their momentum just completely shifted over the course of the season. And they blew out Oklahoma State and Florida and beat Iowa State in the Big 12 title in their last 4 games. Also beat Baylor in those last 4 games there. And if this team plays the way that they did, like at the end of last season when they were blowing out Florida and Oklahoma State, like this team once again, I mean, if this same team, like Florida was outstanding last season, Kyle Trask all around, Florida was outstanding. If this team can have that same energy and that same power on both sides of the ball, like Oklahoma, this team once again very much for real next season. But looking at your number 5 reason, last but not least, it's going to be Lincoln Riley, your head coach. Has a 45-8 overall record with the Sooners, went 12-2 for 3 seasons straight. He's coached 4 different New Year's Six bowl games. That was kind of interesting when I was looking up his stats. He's been with 4 different New Year's Six bowl games over the past 4 years. Has had lots of success as well. But brings in outstanding recruiting classes year after year after year, and that's going to be huge moving forward for Oklahoma. And I mean, he definitely is capable of coaching a national title winning team. Like, I mean, I think that's pretty evident by how he's performed as head coach over the past couple of years. Like, once again, just looking at, I mean, how much Oklahoma improved over last season. I mean, there you go. That's good enough of an explanation for you. But anyway, that being said, that wraps it up for my 5 reasons why Oklahoma is going to win the national title next season. Once again, this team is for real next year. Like, I'm not joking around. I think Oklahoma's definitely got as good of a chance as they have in a long time to win the national title next year. This is a great chance for them, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Oklahoma does. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, slap a like on it, subscribe as well if you're not already yet, as it really helps with the channel, and I'd really appreciate that. But once again, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys all later.